If you can't get enough of ghost towns, we have the perfect remedy that will give you 3 great ghost towns all in one central location. Today we'll show you one of them that sits in the middle of all 3. Next on Ghost Towns and More. For history lovers, the South Pass Mining District in west central Wyoming has 3 ghost towns in a row that will make for some great exploration. Today we'll visit the ghost town of Atlantic City, which, depending on the time frame, became a complete ghost, then bounced back into semi-ghost status more than once. It all started in the late 1860s when mining prospectors discovered a gold-bearing quartz ledge just on the eastern side of the Continental Divide. Since water runs eastward on this side of the divide, heading for the Atlantic, it was only natural to christen one of the 3 new town sites as Atlantic City. Popularly known as the boom-bust capital of Wyoming, this town, with its many starts and stops, certainly earned this reputation. Founded on April 15, 1868, the stories of gold in them hills attracted hundreds of mining prospectors in search of wealth. Hamilton City, later known as Miner's Delight, started just north of town, while South Pass City started up also at the same time to the south. All 3 towns made up the South Pass Mining District. By 1869, the town's population was numbered at 500, and it shrank to 325 a year later. The town had 4 general stores, 2 hotels, livery stables, a lumber yard, 2 blacksmith shops, 7 saloons, and 4 restaurants. At one time, the state's finest opera house was located in Atlantic City. As fast as miners were drawn to this and the other 2 towns, gold findings were quickly drying up. By 1872, each of the 3 towns in the district only had 100 people each. There just wasn't that much gold left to go around in the entire district. Collectively, only about $2 million in gold was produced in just a 5-year period. By 1875, the decline was severe enough that some buildings were either torn down for their lumber or moved. Many could see that the future of mining in the area was bleak. But in 1884, a Frenchman with deep pockets envisioned an even brighter golden future. His name was Émile Granier. Granier believed that if he could channel a waterway to town from several miles away, that hydraulic water spraying could enable the hard rock ledges to give up more gold. His undertaking was enormous, hiring hundreds of Swedes, and built the Rock Creek Ditch with an accompanying reservoir, a sawmill, and completed it all by 1885. But by 1887, Granier still hadn't uncovered any gold, having spent over $200,000 in the process. Undeterred, he told a reporter that he would surprise the world with the output of gold he would retrieve from the mines at Atlantic City. But there were some problems. The slope of the ditch was not level enough, causing water to wash over dams, and his machinery suffered breakdowns. By 1893, with the largest economic depression throughout the United States, and in ill health, Granier returned to France, broke and destitute. Atlantic City all but died, but then other interested investors came in trying their hand at retrieving a fortune they believed was still there, but bankruptcy followed again in 1914. Still again in the 1930s, a dredging company came in using a unique dredge on rails operated by 2 men. They managed to pull in a respectable $400,000 in gold, likely one of the most successful ventures Atlantic City ever had. Then came World War II, and gold mining was outlawed by the U.S. government, bringing closures to all such mining operations, and by this time, there were fewer than a dozen residents left in Atlantic City. From that time on, there were sporadic mining attempts. The post office in town closed in 1923, but reopened 3 years later, only to close for good in 1954. The town that couldn't die had to reopen again in 1960, this time mining iron ore for steel production. Even though production was good for a time, market conditions forced it to shut down in 1983, and the recently added rail spur was taken up. Today, a term that can be used to describe Atlantic City is charming. A number of residents still call it home, and it, along with its two historic sister ghost towns, are popular for visitors during the warmer summer months. The broad expanse of the Wyoming skies and the amazing high view overlooking the town are breathtaking. The Mercantile store now serves as a restaurant and bar, and there are a number of historic items to see as you browse through the town. There are also a number of old structures located high above the town to the south. Those you don't want to miss. The semi-ghost town of Atlantic City is a great place to spend a day visiting, along with Miner's Delight and South Pass City. On the website ultimatewyoming.com, you can find a tour list of all the sites and structures to see while you're in Atlantic City. Accommodations are plentiful north of the district in the city of Lander. This trio of historic towns is a definite must in your summertime travels.